Hi guys, welcome back to the ALCI project. Just for kicks, we're gonna make an ALCI ISO, but now with an LTS kernel and not a Zen kernel. So I just finished the video explaining how I create an ALCI ISO Zen. What does that mean? It means that you boot up with the Zen kernel, the Linux Zen kernel, and then also end up with a Linux Zen kernel after your installation. So just for the kicks, we're gonna create an ALCI ISO with LTS kernel, and hardened, we leave that up to you. So, LTS, right. First step, GitHub. Close other tabs. I need an ALCI ISO LTS. New public LTS. Voila. Create repository. Copy. Right mouse click. Open terminal here. Git clone Ctrl+Shift+V. We've got ourselves an LCS. I am starting with my Zen as an example. Make sure you don't copy paste now the Git. You can't copy paste that. That's the configuration of Git. Ctrl+C. And LTS. What's this thing? Okay. I guess I need to fix something. Yep. Didn't see that. It's still early in the morning. Okay. Rename. Ctrl+H. Fix it in here as well. Done. No harm done. Let's kill lots of files. Okay. So this is the LTS. Not really. But it's soon gonna be. Because these two guys are a copy now, right? So I'll check this out and this out, and then you'll see how easy it is if you use the tool meld. There's one thing we can't do, and that's actually go in here, arch ISO, etc, make NXP, and call this Linux LTS. Okay. Now, let's stay in here for a while. Zen becomes LTS. How do I know it's written like this? So you go pacman -s linux LTS. Don't be afraid, install it. What's gonna happen to my machine? VM Linux LTS. Okay, got it. So it's just reading what's there. Yeah, I'm just reading what's there. Ready? Right? We have our own way of writing things, but this is basically LTS in the end. All right, done. That's why I'm writing that. Now we compare. We take a look at this and take a look at that and compare it. Still open. And refresh. So we have the Linux LTS kernel, and here we have the Linux preset kernel. Okay, follow. How to log in, we can keep XFCE or Mate or Awesome or anything, any desktop you want to boot into afterwards. Actually, we could do something else, right? We can do anything. We can do Cinnamon, we can do anything. So just for the kick of it again, let's decide to do something else on this particular ISO. So mate it will be, means I need to get other Lego boxes, pieces of Lego. That's all it is. And I'll do it later. LTS, LTS, save. So I want to boot, not in Zen. I want to boot in LTS. I want to boot in LTS. Well, tell him. You want to boot in LTS. I want to boot in LTS. Even if you're not going to use it, I know there are some of these things we're never going to use. But hey, I'm this guy that says I'm going to go for the 100%. If I'm about to change something, I'm gonna change it completely. Okay. Not that hard, right? Just don't miss one. That's the problem with developing. Typos, tired, missing one, making human mistakes. If we didn't make those, life would be easier. So here you see why I did not add the broadcom WL and left out the DKMS as well. So Linux, you're out. And down here we say ALCI DWM is out. And down here we say XFCE is in. And down here we say Linux Zen is in, but also mate. Now let's see, sudo pacman -s mate. Is it called mate? Is it called mate desktop? I have to wait, I think. Okay. So it's mate. That's enough. I will get something. And we save that. Then we have the folder. That's not so important, but it makes sense to put it in a different kind of folder. LTS. LTS, so the output folder. That's it. Is that it? Refresh. So we've got our own Linux LTS preset. We have LTS here. We have LTS here. Cool. We have auto login. We go for mate this time. Could have gone for Plasma. Takes longer to build because more packages. That's all. Linux LTS, Linux LTS. Okay. Then here LTS, LTS. Check. LTS, LTS. Check. Linux LTS, LTS. LTS, LTS. LTS, 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 LTS. Check. Packages, let's rethink it. Linux is out. We don't use ALCI DWM anymore. We are using ALCI Calamares and Xterm to have a terminal. Neofetch Xorg is there. Base development, Neofetch. And then we get Linux LTS on this header and the mate. Okay, looks like all the pieces on a little Lego box are present to be able to build something. But first off, check RG Zen. We have an ALCI Calamares Zen. The rest is Trizen, right? That's okay. But we forgot, well, we did not forget, but we could already change it now. Eh? So packages, the ALCI Calamares Zen. Where are you? So here, Control C, we need to create our own thing for the LTS. So we don't need a Zen. No, we don't need a Zen. We need to build ourselves a new package for calamars, a new configuration. So this guy, Control C, Control V, needs to be different. LTS. How different? Well, again, great tool. Compare. This is what we did. Linux, remove Linux. Check, right? Remove Linux, no problem. Build the preset for Linux LTS, not for Zen. And unpack and move Linux LTS over there, not Zen. Make sure always at the top here that you're in the correct folder, right? Left is the standard ALCI Calamares config, right was LTS. So don't start changing the wrong thing. So we've moved that there. And save. What you can do as well is when you think everything is done, compare LTS with Zen. Okay, so Linux has Zen and Linux LTS, and for both of them it's the same thing, remove Linux. That's why it's not there. But the only thing that should pop out are 3 letters every single time. Cool. So double check. It's these cross checks is what makes humans unfallible. Because we are fallible. We're making mistakes. But with these cross checks, less. So I don't have this thing. I could have, it would have been better if I thought about creating one first. Control C, but no problem, we can still do it. So public, so Zen, I find it strange why he says he can create that. Oh no. Checking something. No, it's okay. So try that again. Okay. Because you should say that it exists already. LTS. So we're gonna create online a presence for this file. Now, since I've already created a folder, it's a bit tricky in the sense that I first go to the desktop, git clone it, like this, right? So the desktop is here. What I've done is already create something in here. Problem is, and that's the danger, this one is a copy paste. And I make this mistake often. Do not make my mistake. I'm gonna push LTS stuff to Zen GitHub. That's worse, that's bad. That's really bad, right? So this is indeed, watch out Eric, I'm gonna make the mistake almost. I should have looked here, right? Git Zen. I'm gonna push to Zen. I don't want to push to Zen, I want to push to LTS. But the content here is LTS. RG LTS. Whoa, there are too much LTSs. But here it is. So this thing is correct. Control X, Control V. This thing I have is wrong. The desktop thing is right. We're back. This is correct. if I'm gonna push it to the internet, it will have the correct URL. Push it to LTS, not to Zen. You could override your stuff like that. So I'm gonna push this to the internet. First commit. And let me type in my password. That's done. So that's on the internet. Now I need to build it. ALCI package build. We have already a Zen. Control C, Control V. Call it LTS. And then everywhere called LTS. Any more Zens? Maybe back to number 1. First build. Well, basically it now clashes with Zen. Doesn't like Zen now, because this is LTS. And the rest is good. Control find Zen. The only reference is there. Save. Get out. Make the package. Delete the stuff. Control X. Move it to the repo. Put it on the repo. It's gonna go on the repo. Voila. So when I built my ISO, and I use installation scripts, let's reuse the data from yesterday. Number 40. 30 is gonna clean out your cache. Download everything again. We have to see ALCI calamares config LTS is not there, he says. Did I use another name? Typo. Let's see. We've created a package build for ALCI calamares config LTS. That's correct. The repo. ALCI calamares config LTS. No typo, no. It's an L. Then we go to the repo. What does happen with these repos from time to time again on GitHub? It takes a while sometimes before it actually comes in. So I'm gonna try it once more. Voila. And everything works again. So many packages. I have the Mate stuff needs to come in. 40 packages. Yeah, I got called away, but in the meantime, the system is just doing its job. That's what I love about Linux, right? You can script anything and it works for you. Awesome. Curious to know what's going on? Super, Shift, Enter. Control H, Control Shift 1, and then Control H. That's all we need. ALCI build. What is it doing? Well, later on, let's start with the first one. So in here, no, sorry, not that one. So this is what we've created. This is our stuff. The future stuff is this. So ISO, Arch, boot. If we have here AMD ucode and Intel ucode, but in here we'll have the VM Linux LTS. Cool. So that's where he's gonna get his kernel. That's how we boot. And in here, that's the complete system to complete root the future computer system. It is the biggest file on your system, and he's building it. Okay. Where's this coming from? Well, the source for that is coming from here. We are 64 bits. We'll never make 32 bits, if you were wondering. So this is the future system. And this is ArchISO's idea to give a version. You see? It's not our ideas coming from there. And this is your boot. So empty. So that's how it's booting. It's not booting from this folder, but from the other folder. And what else is important? The make init.cpio.d. There's the linux-lts preset. There's no Linux preset. Just linux-lts one. And then later on, we're gonna say, guys, you need something in the boot folder. So we're telling him, go get, sorry, a wrong button again. Go get this, there, that one, go that one, get this one and extract it to the other folder. That's what we did in the Calamares configuration, right? We said, go get this there and put it there. Basically, copy paste, well, move. And the rest is extracting of this thing. He's now, well, making a kind of zip or rar or tar.gz or whatever you want to call it, but it's an SFS, I think it's called, and it's just compressed. Simple as that, just compressed. Voila, finished compressing, squashing, if you want to call it, squash FS file system. Done. Is this it? 22 minutes of time to create your own LTS ISO. Well, within 30 minutes you can even test it. So super F7, template, clone, ALCI LTS, next clone, and then you open up, choose a disk file. We have now an ALCI ISO LTS out. Still the same name because we want to stay true to ArcoLinux, saying this is still Arch. But if we go type on the E button, or was it tab, take a look at the lines. It says VM Linux LTS, you see it? And also at the bottom line, last word there, lts.image. Enter. Control F, full screen. We're almost there. If we did not forget anything, that's always an if. People will be people. Yes, it's a song, I know. People are people. We've chosen for Mate, I've chosen for 22 desktops. We're still working with this version. Next. Scroll, Belgian it is. Next, erase, no swap, fine. Next. So why am I not in SDDM? Because the file we have there in the etc sddm.conf.d or something, right, has indeed a configuration file to auto login into Mate. Not ALCI DWM, not XFCE, not Plasma, not Deeping, etc. etc. You define there, I want auto login, please. So we get in here immediately. Even now, you can have a look around. My Super Shift Enter doesn't work. Too bad. No keyboard shortcut. This is version Mate without any additions. So file system was interesting to take a look at the temp. That's the future system here, right here. He has mounted your virtual machine, or in this case, but your SSD, your hard disk, your NVMe, and is going to do all that. But this boot thing is so empty, and if it stays empty, now we can't boot. Right, so that's an important folder. And the etc, you know that the make init cpio.d was important. There is a linux-lts preset, so he'll figure it out. Ooh, something is happening. Let's go back to the boot. Where's the boot? Where's the boot? I want to go to boot. Boot. Aha, there he is. VM linux-lts is there. And that's also good. Grub is coming, the last bits. Bootloader is coming. And off we go. So this is how you can actually, yeah, it's like a video, right? It's a film, and it has steps, and there's, luckily it goes in one direction and not jumping in the beginning and back to the past and then back to the future, and oh my god, and you lost the storyline. It's not like that. It really is following a video, and once your mind is more computerized, let's say, you say, okay, that first, that, then that, and that's how it works. So there we go. We have an LTS system. And how do we test it further? Maybe Super Shift Enter. Not working, Eric. Eric's home is here. Oh, nice, my home. I feel quite at home. Boot. We've got that. Check. There is no Linux kernel. Maybe we should check it. So internet, no, xterm, and then we do a sudo pacman -sy, so get the databases in. We're just Arch, guys. Look at that. That's nothing in ArcoLinux, no chaotic. It's just Arch, just a choice. You can do whatever you like. It's freedom. It's Linux. Thing is, can I remove Linux? What does pacman think? Ah, Linux is not there. That's cool. So I can remove LTS then. Yes, but it's gonna break all kinds of things, so that's not possible. But anything else? Yeah, there is something that should happen if you do this. -s system d. When you install certain packages, the system wants them to rebuild the make init cpio, and that's should be working, right? If you stay on this machine and you will be updating, then you need to sometime, from time to time, rebuild the boot folder, the boot files, the files in the boot folder. Let's say it like that. So the init rum file system, linux-lts, and the init and the VM Linux thingy. And if it doesn't do that, you've got a problem. Right, so that's taken care of, that's working. Yep. Just wondering about something here. So this thing, yeah, no, it's okay, I think. Still some doubt in my mind. There's no reason for it. This is the doubt I have. Control T. I'm going to my own system. System D. Default. That's why I was doubting. So there's still something to do. And the difference is actually the name. So etc, that one, make init cpio.d, linux-lts. Oh, well, it's just a name. It's just a name. I'm gonna look into it anyway after the video and see if I can change anything like that. see that everything is in order. But there you go, you've got yourself a Linux LTS system, and you're booting into one. That's the main thing, right? I don't know if it happens that much. It doesn't happen any of my computer systems. Just saying that the standard Linux kernel works for me every time. But there may be systems out there where you need to boot up with Linux LTS or Linux Zen to be able to boot up. I don't know. Anyway, that's ArcoLinux or ALCI here, or Carly, because it's all the same playground. It's all Arch, and it's all the Lego blocks of Arch and the building block, the tool Arch ISO. So it will work on any Arch Linux based system, and this is how you do it. All right, enjoy.